Hello, everybody. Welcome back. So, they had announced last week that we were going to be getting another patch for Stadium this week, and then the one came out on Tuesday, I think it was either Monday or Tuesday, that just had some minor tweaks to the game itself, rather than any major changes or hero updates, so I didn't bother making a video. But now, here today, we've got another one dropped. So, 2 patches in 1 week is kind of odd, but this one does have some hero changes. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at these and see what's changed. Now remember, as far as I know, these are all just for Stadium. Right here at the top, it does say Stadium updates. I don't know if there'll be any regular changes in here included near the bottom, but I'm assuming it's all going to be just for Stadium. Right off the bat, what do I think's going to happen here? I'm pretty sure Reaper's going to get nerfed. D.Va got some significant nerfs last time, so she'll probably get some compensation buffs. Junker Queen's probably fine. Orissa's probably fine. I'm going to say probably D.Va buffs, Zarya nerfs, maybe some minor tweaks to Queen. But I don't really see much else happening. Well, actually, no. The blog with Aaron Keller did say that Reinhardt has the highest win rate on tanks in Stadium, so he'll probably get some nerfs, even though I don't see too many people playing him lately. What did they say? They said the top 3 winners per role was Reinhardt, Reaper. Who did they say the support was? Lucio was the highest one. Yeah, so Reinhardt, Reaper, Lucio have the highest win rates across all of Stadium. So those 3 will probably get some nerfs. But anyway, I'm going to quit making projections. Let's just go in and look at it. So tank, first up is D.Va. D.Va's been struggling in matchups against beam-focused heroes like Zarya. Well, I mean, that's normal for D.Va, but you can't counter swap in Stadium, so I guess they do actually have to balance it here. Adding some power to some of her builds that utilize her main defensive tool defense matrix in hopes to allow them to have a bit more flexibility and apply more pressure in team fights. Countermeasure power. Decreased mitigation from 100 down to 150. Rare ability hero item. Decreased mitigation from 200 to 200 down from 300. Okay. Stat boost. Wow, there's a lot of changes to D.Va. Stat boost power, increased defense matrix recovery rate to 125 up from 100. Ultra wide defense matrix duration increased to 25% up from 20. Okay, I'm not liking this so far. We're nerfing her basic mitigation and just making the defense matrix stronger. Multitask, increased weapon power to 20% up from 10. Pulse plating increased ultimate charge gain to 10% from 5%. Plot armor damage reduced now gets counted as damage mitigated by defense matrix. Okay, so that's why they're dropping the mitigation. Is because mitigation now counts. Yeah, okay. That's why those are traded in there. So that's kind of weird that reduced damage now count towards mitigation. But none of these changes directly affect the beam, which is in the comments what they were trying to fix. That's all just kind of weird. They've just completely rebalanced D.Va without addressing the problem that they're saying that this was designed to fix. So that's just weird. I don't even know what to say on that one. Let's look at Junker Queen. Junker Queen thrives when she can close the distance to brawl up close, and her current mobility has been allowing her to engage too freely. We're toning down her gap closing potential to make her positioning more deliberate and reduce her ability to aggressively dive into enemy lines without consequence. This should encourage more thoughtful engagements while preserving her core bruiser identity. Booming voice reduced ability power from 15% down to 25%. Slicing spree reduced max speed stat down to 5%. reduced movement speed while near enemy with a wound to 5%. Increased attack speed while near an enemy with wound up to 10%. Okay. I mean, maybe I've just never used that item. Yeah, Junker Queen to me has felt like one of if not the weakest tanks in Stadium. I was truly expecting a buff, not a nerf. Who plays Junker Queen with a speed build? You either go all into attack or all into shout. I have never taken that slicing spree. That's just weird. So far, we're 2 for 2 for changes that I'm not a fan of. And don't really seem to accomplish anything. But, I mean, I can't see the stats like they can, so I'm assuming there's an actual reason for it. But Reinhardt with the highest win rate on tanks has the least amount of changes so far. Alright, developer comments. Reinhardt has been overperforming, especially at lower levels. We're tuning down some of the powers that are most difficult to counterplay, such as melee Reinhardt feeling inescapable due to his crazy amount of movement speed or being one-shot by an impact burst fire strike. As an important known issue with this balance change, the move speed per stack is currently not represented correctly on the tooltip, but is functionally set to 2%. This will be fixed in a future update. I haven't noticed that, but sure. Impact burst power reduced bonus damage to 15% down from 20, so 5% drop on that. Smashing reduced move speed per stack to 2% down from 3%. The top performing tank. And that's what they changed? A 1% drop in movement speed is nothing. Now, the power reduced by 5%, that one I can see having an effect. But a 1% movement speed. I mean, it's per stack, but still, that's... I'm going to end up not liking this entire list, it feels like. I mean, granted, the game mode's only been out a few weeks. Everybody's still just kind of playing with it and tweaking it, but... So far, there's been no changes to anybody that affects their actual base kits. It's only going to be affecting specific builds. And while I get that coming up with your own specific build is a major part of Stadium, so far, none of the things they've done are items I have ever used or feel like I've even seen people use. Why would you play Reinhardt in this mode and go for the smashing power? You either go for a charge build or a shield build or a fire strike build. Let's just get through the whole list. I'm going to have to quit stopping at every character or this is going to take forever. But so far, I have not liked a single change they have made. Zarya. Okay, so next is damage. So no changes to Orisa. That's interesting. Developer comments. Zarya continues to be overperforming, especially at higher levels of play. Zarya is overperforming at every level of play. I was shocked when they said Reinhardt was the top because most of the matches that I have gotten stomped in has been due to a Zarya. She is way overtuned. We're reducing some of the survivability of weapon power Zarya builds so that she should be more vulnerable, especially if she is opting to itemize full damage. Life lift power, reduce particle barrier scaling to 25% of your max life, down from 50%. Good change. Pre-workout, reduce life steal of your energy to 15%, down to 20%. Okay, we have a good one. Both of these are great changes. I will give them that. So they are 1 for 4 on tanks, but better than nothing. I like both of those changes. Ashe. Ashe has strong potential in the hands of experienced players, but parts of her kit have been falling off in the later stages of the game compared to other heroes. We're making targeted adjustments to help her scale more effectively into the late game, while also smoothing out some of the sharp edges that made her less forgiving for newer players. These changes aim to make Ashe more rewarding pick across all skill levels. Interesting. Head Honcho. Increase the damage increase per unscoped shot landed to 5%, up from 3%. That one's fine. Bob Jr. Reduced attack speed reduction to 20%, down from 50%. I'm sorry, hang on. Reduced attack speed reduction. That is a very strange way to write that. But I'm assuming it means that Bob's going to be shooting, or Mini Bob's going to shoot a lot faster now. Reduced the reduction. Wow, that's... Anyway, so that should mean it should only be 20% reduced from full Bob attack speed. So, Bob Jr. builds are going to go crazy. Infrared Lens, epic ability hero item, fixed an issue where the increased damage against burning targets was only applied to the Viper and Bob. Now increases all damage dealt by Ashe to burning targets. Reduced increased damage to burning targets to 20%, down from 25%. So that's fine. So easier to trigger the extra damage, but it won't do as much when it does. So the main change here is just the Bob Jr. That's the only DPS change? Nothing to Reaper? Or are they just out of order? No, there's nothing to Reaper. That's probably the biggest surprise of this whole thing. And support Lucio. So the top three performers were Lucio, Reaper, Reinhardt. Reinhardt got almost nothing. Reaper did get nothing. What did they do to Lucio? Lucio's ability power healing builds have continued to give too much healing output for how accessible and consistent they are, and have been overperforming at all levels of play. We're tuning down the healing output here because of how consistently effective it is. Lucio's weapon power builds have been mostly crowded out by ability power builds, in both output and consistency. We're adding a bit more power here to encourage some more build variety. Crowd Pleaser, healing reduced to 100% of crossfade healing, down from 150. Let's Bounce, reduced wall slam damage to 25, down from 40. Reduced knockback increase to 25%, down from 30. Sonic Boom, increased healing to 30% of damage dealt, up from 20%. Fast Forward, increased damage to 30%, up from 25. Reduced ability power to 5%, down from 10%. All Out Auditiva, reduced ability power to 15%, down from 20. Reduced amp it up duration to 25%. So they're just trying to get more Lucios to go into damage, like Reddit Lucio style, and less of them to heal bot. Which honestly is fine. I mean, if he had any of these abilities in the normal game, it would be a nightmare, but everybody can easily get extra HP and armor here, so I don't see an issue with having a DPS Lucio. But yeah, if they were just getting that much free healing, then I can see reducing the healing. Yeah, power. Yeah, so most of these were ability changes. Moira. We're adding some small buffs to some of the less popular powers in hopes to better enable some new build paths. Precarious Potency, increased healing to 25% of biotic grasp healing, up from 20%. Destructive Divide, increased coalescence effectiveness when toggled to 30%, up from 25%. Yeah, these aren't going to make anybody do anything else. You're either going to go full movement, or full damage, or full orb. I mean, when you can get 6 orbs bouncing around in a little hallway, it's insane. There's really no reason to do any other build. I don't know why they ever thought any different. Surely whoever was on the design team knew that the people playing Moira were going to take as many orbs as that you could give them. So I don't think anyone's ever going to take other paths. You're either going to have full orb or full damage. General changes. Nebula Conduit has been too effective of a purchase given the strength of its effect, reducing some of the weapon power to put more focus on its niche and less of an obvious choice in weapon build focus. Booster jets too easily enabled. Okay, those are just general crap. Oh, I mean, it is general items, but what's the actual change? Booster jets, reduce movement speed when using an ability to 10 down from 20. Epic survival item, reduced weapon power to 5% down from 10%. That's... I mean, that one's a little significant, but nothing major. So I don't expect anything really to change from these. Ash is going to be a lot better for the Bob builds, which is pretty much what I do every time I do Ash. You get that one that you can start with ult charge, then you can build ult charge quicker. And I mean, I can have Bob Jr. like every fight, so having him shoot 30% faster is nice. Zarya will be a little bit easier to kill. Or rather, she won't kill you as quickly so that you have time to kill her. The Reinhardt changes are a waste of time. The Queen and Diva changes... I don't know how to feel about them. I mean, I'm sure they have numbers to back these up. But just looking at them on paper, it's like they were changing something just to make a change. I mean, both of these were changed to offset this change. I don't know, that's just kind of weird. But yeah, so that's going to be the patch notes. I'm very surprised to see nothing for Reaper. And Reinhardt, I figured was going to get nerfed more given that he's the top performer. But the only ones on here I'm actually happy about are the Ashe and the Zarya. The rest are either bad or just weird. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, Stadium's still a blast. Y'all have a good one.